Well, initially it was overwhelming, a bit scary, but also I was hopeful and excited actually about the procedure and the better quality of life that we would have afterwards. So I was excited about it, although I knew that it was going to be kind of a tough road. I had read enough about it to know that it was going to be a difficult journey at times.
Overwhelmed, anxious, sad, wondering, how are we going to make it. And, you just have to accept the things you can't change and be thankful that they found a donor for her and that, I was able to be here with her in the time, whenever I didn't know what was going to happen. She didn't know really. So it was just good to be able to be here and to see what was going on. So it wasn't really stressful.
I was thankful that he had a second chance at life. I am a little emotional, so I was a little nervous, but it was just a good feeling to know that he could get this and he could be better.
We were fortunate in that sense that I was retired and I just had to deal with, or needed to deal with, the home and kin, and could just put everything else on the back burner and devote my entire time to his needs and going through the transplant.
Yes, I was a volunteer at the hospital there, and I had to arrange for other people to fill in for me and arrange for my newspaper, my mail to be brought in because I did have to relocate here with her. I think we stayed about 9 months. About 9 months. And then, I could sign off and go home for a couple of days, but basically I was here all the time and, in the room with her.
Well, when my husband was diagnosed, it was fortunate that I had been retired for a few years, and we were doing little things like the family business, and I also do homebound teaching for the county that I worked in, that I retired from. So it wasn't quite so much that we had to arrange, and the children, being that 2 of them were in the area and 1 was back home, we were able to work that situation out also. I was a little nervous at first, but I knew that I had to really be together, get myself together so that I could be strong for my husband and the children. And after a few days, after learning of what we had to go through, I was able to just really get it together. It's just like you wake up this morning and you have to do this or you have to do that, and you just go on and you just take it day by day, sometimes hour by hour, and it just becomes a part of you.
His inpatient time was not as stressful. We lived close enough to the hospital that it was easy to come back and forth. So I was able to stay home and be home and get things ready, but then able to spend time with him every day. I would come over early with a thermos of coffee, and we'd have our normal coffee in the morning. So that was not as stressful as getting ready for him to come home, getting things prepared.
I stayed here.
Okay.
I slept in a room with her. The doctors would come in early, and naturally Dr. G, as we call him, Dr. Gabriel, he come in, he called her Sunshine, because when he comes, she was always smiling regardless of how she felt. And the staff, they were just so nice and everything. So they would go in and make sure, because she would have to get up and get her bath and get dressed and everything. So I could go get me breakfast and walk around the campus, and read a lot and talk to other family members that had a transplant. So I was never really bored. And the social workers, you know, they made sure that, you know, we had plenty to do. And the computer, you know, she talked to her kids at school, and I could talk to my friends at home. So it was never really boring. We had plenty to do here. They made sure of that.
During my husband's inpatient stay, we got to watch TV programs together. I did get out. One time I was staying pretty long hours, but he kicked me out. He told me that I needed to go to our daughter's home that we were staying, and I needed to exercise. I like to walk. That's my therapy, and now I'm getting a little jog in. So he said, you know, I needed to exercise, you know, for myself. So we got to do that. Again, as I said, we got to read together. He would enjoy my reading to him. So some nights, if I would stay late and he would be restless, we would have a book. And we read several books. I read several books to him. And he would fall asleep, and then I would tip out of the room and go home. But I didn't stay 24/7. Well, maybe I stayed a few nights. But then I would get out, and I would go back to my daughter's house, and we would stay there. I would stay there. I would get out, you know, during the day before I would come up here.
She would get tired, but she could do some things for herself, like giving herself a bath, fix the food and make her eat because she didn't have much appetite. And the cleaning up part, which you had to clean up every day, everything had to be clean. So it was a little bit rough, but you put yourself aside, you know, and just do what you have to do for her. So it don't give you much time to think about yourself.
Well, as the caregiver role, once my husband was discharged, I wanted to be certain that he got to his appointments on time, that he got his prescriptions filled on time, that he was, you know, getting his medication and the meals. I wanted to be certain that he had the proper meals with the vegetables and all those things that he needed to eat. Proper diet, yes.
He is a very self-sufficient person, so he more than anything else, I tried to make sure that he had the things that he needed, and that I did support him in anything that he needed. Food and maintaining things around the house and making sure that the yard was mowed and the things were done, that he didn't have to worry about that not being done, trying to keep things as normal as possible. And as I say, he was pretty self-sufficient. There were, to begin with, you know, he needed some help just getting around, and I tried to provide that, but there wasn't a whole lot other than, you know, caring for the house and trying to support him emotionally, to be there when he needed me to be there, and to leave him alone when he needed to be left alone, because there were times when he felt bad and he would just want to spend the afternoon in his chair or reading or something like that. So it was kind of a day-to-day process, and trying to be there and to support him and give him what he needed that particular day.